Thursday, December 4th, 2025. We're here to discuss perimeter fencing at the airport. And
Commerce Drive.
We're here to discuss Commerce Drive. That's not what we have on here.
Did you say airport?
Perimeter fencing. Oh, sorry. Commerce Drive. Yeah, I'm reading the wrong line. Discuss perimeter fencing at Commerce Drive. So let's go ahead and turn it over to Jeff. Jeff, do you want to go ahead and brief us on this meeting?
Or open the meeting? Or
yes.
It's not a hearing.
Yeah. We have a request from the Tam's Toilets, who's leasing the property, that they're going to do a perimeter fence around there. And so I've been speaking with our PNC and also the mayor of Smelterville. And we're trying to come up with a solution to make sure that perimeter fencing is not going to affect Smelterville in any way. And we want to make sure that we're all on the same page. And so Dan would be able to fill us in on more about,
For the record,
where
this
we're
is
at.
Jeff Zimmerman, the other commissioner.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't know who Jeff was, so thank you.
So, Dan Martinson, administrator. Yeah, exactly right. We got information that we wanted to put up the applicant or the leasee wanted to put up a perimeter fence, and so the discussion started happening about the appropriateness or what was the plan for that. And because it's a leased county property, part of the lease agreement is that any permanent improvements would be brought before the board for approval. So talked with the leasee, put together a site plan semi-delineating where the proposed fencing and the proposed access gates are proposed to be. So we put that together. We had some discussions with a couple of members of the city of Smelterville. I talked with Jeremy, and then he had other conversations with him and said he was going to send somebody to speak. So we'll have some folks here from Smelterville. I spoke with Pete Staten from South Park Sewer District, and that's some of the maps that I gave you to kind of show where those lines run and go. Had a good conversation with him. He was going to try to be here, so he might pop in here any second now, but his concerns he relayed to me were just simply that, obviously, that one, he's got plenty of access to get in there and access the lines that crisscross through the property, and that obviously he couldn't tell from this map whether or not the proposed line was close to or near any of his manholes, but obviously he just said, obviously we just don't want to put them too close to the manholes so that they don't have access to be able to clean stuff out. And certainly over time they want to be able to access those lines for repair if they need to. Smelterville expressed the same situation. Oh, there he is, just stepping in. So we'll let them kind of talk about their points of concerns now that he's here. But that's the gist of the plan, and so I would probably turn it back over to Chris here. And Chris Maggard is the managing manager of the Tam's Toilets in that facility, and so I guess Chris, you can kind of explain further. Yeah, what exactly is being proposed. And
I do need to make a correction, though, that one gate is not the correct spot. We're actually going to run the fence from this corner and tie it into a corner here, and we're going to put a gate across this road here.
Okay.
Because right on that red line, there are a couple manholes there, and the fence would go over there, and moving the fence north a little bit is going to free up those manholes.
Oh, versus just going straight across to the freeway.
Yeah, so the gate is going to be run east and west instead of north-south there. But that's just a placement issue. We've been taking care of toilets. It's coming up on 8 years here in January. And we bought the business and we've expanded it, and we've had to find places to put it, and that's why we're leasing this property. It's a fantastic spot for it, and it works great, but we've been having some issues. The people are using the toilets when they're prepared to go out. I don't know if they're walking the trail or walking their dogs or just using the toilets. We've had the aluminum toilet paper rods disappear. We've had some vandalism in some of the toilets with graffiti that are occurring there, and we're just getting tired of that. We haven't had an issue here, but at the other location we had a trailer actually stolen, and we just want to protect our assets. so that we can keep doing what we're doing for the community and continuing to grow the business. What we're proposing is just putting this fence up to keep at least the law-abiding folks out, because it doesn't matter what kind of fence you put up. If people want in badly enough, they're going to get in. But we're going to have the 3 gates there. It's a 16-foot wide opening, so you'll be able to get anything through that gate that you would need to. Combination locks. We're going to make the combination easy to see, and we're going to make it so easy because the combination is going to be based on our phone number, which if somebody forgets the combo, they can look at the toilets or look at our truck and get the combination to get in. People would have access 24/7. We're not asking folks to open the gate and lock it back up once they enter. If they're going to be working in the facility for a few hours, leave the gate open. That's fine. We would just like to have folks close it up behind them. They would have free access to everything they've got now. Like I said, 24/7, access the combination. If somebody else needs in there, they can call me and I can give the combo, or depending on who needs in there. I want to make sure they've got legit reasons to be in there, though. I know the water department and the sewer department, they've got lines going into there, and that's totally understandable. We're not blocking access. We're adding a layer of security to the Smelterville sewage plant there. We've already added the light. And we're putting the money out there to build the fence. It's not expensive. It's about $30,000 for that fence to go in there. But we want to protect our stuff. But we're going to make it as easy as possible for anybody that has need to be in there to be in there. The only thing that's going to slow them down is they got to stop, get out of their pickup truck, open the gate, and close it on their way out.
Okay. Okay. And who all needs to speak to this? You said everybody here's from Smelterville
We've got
or
the sewer
sewer.
district here, and we've got folks from the city of Smelterville
Okay.
and the water district. And they're all 3 here. So.
Well, why don't we just start and we'll go down the line here.
Yeah.
If you'd state your name for the record. And
My name is Pete Staten, District Manager with the South Fork Sewer District.
Pete.
So, I've sent Dan a map of our sewer interceptor.
This is what I
Give that to us, Dave.
blow up with what you.
Is that this one
you've got?
Yeah, it's the same map. Might be a little easier to see on that big one there. We've got 3 manholes on the north end of that parcel for our main interceptor that brings all the sewage from Wallace all the way down to the treatment plant. It's a 24 and 30-inch pipe going through there. And then that green line coming across the freeway serves the airport. So those 3 manholes, I want to make sure that we have easy access to those, free and clear access. Being the big interceptor pipe, it's kind of the canary in the coal mine if we ever get an extreme flooding condition, which last time that happened was in 2017. Knock on wood, we don't have to deal with that again, but that manhole has flooded in the past. Flooded as in surcharge sewer. Hopefully those days are past us, but.
so the green dots are the manholes.
Yes.
Okay.
And the red dashed line you see cutting across the property is Smelterville's, City of Smelterville pipe. So the solid purple and solid, I think it's kind of a blue color, are the big interceptor pipe for
Thank you. Okay. So your concerns with the fence would be that we don't obstruct the manhole.
Yeah, most critically would be not to put the fence on the manhole, obviously. Making sure we got plenty of room around the manhole to bring in a big backer truck. The going through a gate isn't the end of the world to us. Obviously, we'd prefer not to have to do that, but that's not, as long as we have plenty of access to it, that's the main thing.
How much room would you need around the manhole cover?
I would like to have a minimum 15 feet all around. But our truck is 35 feet long. So.
And it could be inside or outside. You just need.
I would prefer that our manholes be outside, but again, as long as we had access, if the county decided to allow the fence allow the fence to enclose the manholes, and we had access. Obviously.
Oh, I see.
Okay, the way we got it envisioned, now when you're talking about those manholes, you're talking about the ones that stick up 6-8 inches?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna be that distance, but they will be inside what we were proposing for a fence line. So you'd be able to get that close to it.
Okay, that wouldn't be my preference, but as long as we could access them, that'd be acceptable.
Okay.
They get buried pretty easily, and it's easy to knock them off. And, a big pipe like that.
And I
Well,
think
maybe
I've
you
only
could,
done
on
some
that
once.
drawing there, maybe you could kind of sketch out a line where you're talking about on that north line. It's really about this north line, and Pete, you could look at it and try to decide where.
Oh, wait a second, what are,
One of the things I might have.
the holes I was
concern-
looking at, Pete, are on this side of the road?
I think, I think there might be a little bit of
Because there's a couple raised ones
aerial
here
photo
and here.
issues. I think these manholes are actually right in this area.
Well, I know because I miss them.
Well, and that's my concern is like especially when there's snow, it's easy to knock them off
Right.
knock the frames off, and then you've got.
Well, we know where they're at because we were going to tie in and have the fence come in from, this is going to be real rough, along this road here and tie into the corner of the fence here. Or here, There's a fence there, but I don't know if there's a gate there. I've never gone down there, but I think we're going to tie in here so they can access back there because that's their easement.
I think the fence needs to be well north of that access road or well below it.
Well, we're looking at, there's a ditch there.
Over here.
Yeah. So we can't really put it out. Well, see, we got that. I don't know where that manhole cover is. But we were looking at the topography locally because there is quite a ditch right along here.
Yeah, I think the manholes are right in that area. I looked at
Right.
it this afternoon, this morning.
Yeah, this stormwater ditch comes along this side, and then this is where the big culvert is in that raised area here.
Yeah, and
just past there is where it dives looking and it follows that northern property line.
yeah, and just to note, they're
there.
showing putting a gate here. We're proposing a gate here, and here, and here. So there's the 3 access points.
Okay. City?
I'm Chad Nelson with CSC Water District. My main concern is we have a 24-inch water main that follows the north side of that access road along the transmission main, the rail trails.
Yeah, can you draw yours in there too?
So our transmission main, and we're in the process right now.
Oh, that's the south side.
Yes. So this is the rails to trails. So our transmission main runs along this edge of this roadway here.
Okay, I was confused. You said north.
And then there is a line that parallels South Fork Sewer District that feeds the airport, and it runs roughly through this area here to the airport. We have a water meter that feeds City of Smelterville Sewer Pond, and it is roughly in this location, somewhere right in here. My main concern, we met the other day out there, they proposed to put the fence line on the north side of this access road, real close to the main line. We had shifted it roughly around 15 to 18 feet to the north, which I'm fine with that. If they have to straddle these other water mains, I suggested to make sure the posts are outside of where we had our locate marks, which I believe they are now. We will need access in there to do any sort of maintenance, to be able to access the meter pit, things like that. That is mainly our concern.
So that was the only line that we talked about the other day.
Correct. Which was a 24-inch main, which we shifted your fence line to the north.
And that gives you enough room.
I believe so. Our main thing right now is the maintenance on that existing line. Our new project proposes to have the new pipeline to the south of the existing main, so that should give us a little bit more room there. But and then wherever you guys had your fence posts running east and west for that line going over to the airport, I believe Alan straddled those lines, so that gives us room for any sort of maintenance on that through there. So future stuff or whatever, I just need the combination. If we've got to do any sort of maintenance, we'll let you know what we've got to do. we'll have to have access to those
Oh, yeah.
lines at some point.
Yeah.
So that's my concerns.
Okay. All right. You see any follow-up? Otherwise,
City
we'll-
Smelterville.
Yep.
I'm Jeff with the city of Smelterville, resident, I guess. Our only concern is just like in the wintertime, plowing that road, just stop, open a gate, and then just start plowing again. If you've got a heavy snow, that won't work. You won't be able to do that.
Then how do they plow to get into their facilities now?
You push it off to the side. Then you can, if you stop with a truckload of snow and you stop at a gate and then open it and then try to keep going again, if it's wet and heavy, you're not gonna push it.
So what do you do in that situation where you've got something already set up?
What do you mean already set up?
Well, if you've got a gate that's already there from before or something, and you gotta plow it, and it's closed, how do you deal with the situation
You
currently?
push the snow off to the side. That way, when you back up and you have to plow through the gate, then you're starting without having all that snow
Right.
built up. You push it off,
Would you be able to do that with these gates where they are?
probably not.
And Jeff, could you show us which road,
I'm confused.
which road you're talking?
Basically, if you come down this road, and if you were to stop to have to open this gate, you'd have to pile the snow up where we don't have access. I mean, we're not plowing all the way out into here or anything onto onto that. But like if we did it, like when we normally do it, we would just come up and push it into this area that we already have right here. And then you'd open up the gate and then go in. So that's our concern, is just trying to maintain that in the wintertime, and then just
So I guess I could offer.
Well,
then,
let's see
because
this.
That area,
Can you come in here and move the snow here?
because
when you're
that's
coming in this
not
gate?
the leased area, and because that is county there, we could then decide whether we're okay with them plowing snow off to the side on our property, outside the gate.
right.
That would be okay.
Our proposal was if you just had the fence come over and then out, and you would eliminate a gate, because you wouldn't have this road gated then, and you'd only have your gate here and your gate here. You wouldn't have to have another gate over on this side. If you just had your fence come over and then come back and tie it in here and just not fence this little corner in.
Well, that makes that kind of not usable by us if it's outside our fenced-in area. So
Yeah,
we wanted
but
to use that property for something.
this part right here is where we already have like yard waste and stuff piled there.
Yeah, but see, this
So,
is
I mean-
technically that's our leased property right here,
Right.
and that waste is I don't know where it's coming from. We burned it here last winter. Checking with the fire department first, of course.
Right.
But technically, that's our leased property. Where that debris is being piled.
Right. And it's just been that way since back, I don't know when.
Yeah.
8, 9
But we might want to use that for something in the future.
I think the concern was the plowing. I think we can accommodate the plowing by.
Yeah,
allowing the stockpiles.
So show us what you're thinking about for accommodating the plowing.
Would be if they're coming up to this proposed gate here and be able to pile snow
Does that work
before
for
they
you
get to the
guys?
gate, off to the side, and then open the gate, and then they can finish plowing. Right now, they've got a 30-foot easement, utility easement for the pipe, and so they wouldn't be their right to just push snow off onto somebody else's property, but we could agree to allow them to do that
What do you guys think about that?
as a condition of approval for the fans.
I mean, it's not ideal. Like I said, ideally we were just wanting to have this access this way, but
Yeah. Commissioner Zimmerman, I'm sorry if you're not following all this pointing at
I'm
maps.
following
Okay,
it. I'm following it, yeah.
so we have a,
How much property would they be cutting off if they, how much area would they cut off if they moved the fence to where Smelterville wanted them to? I mean, what are we looking at?
I'd have to measure it, but I mean, it kind of depends on where the layout of the fence would be, because there's an intersection of roads there, so what part of the road are you cutting off? You'd have to leave the intersection essentially somehow. I don't know
They're saying
I don't
from
know how you fence off.
Where's the fence at? The fence is here.
Intersection.
They're talking about this chunk right here.
Yeah, it's the southwest corner. If you're looking at a map, it's that southwest corner below the intersection.
But if we
Okay,
cut,
okay.
if we cut that
Jeff, did
corner
you draw
off,
on there where you were proposing that defense? Because it looks like there's no way to do it without cutting off part of the intersection.
Oh, yeah, basically it would just be like you would come out and then bring it back. You'd have to parallel along that water line or sewer line. But yeah, you would just have this intersection.
I mean, you're picking up the middle of the intersection and trying to get in there. That doesn't seem right.
yeah, and we'd lose that. That's a fair chunk of property that we're leasing that we wouldn't be able to use because we'd be worried about whatever's there is getting messed with.
Up till now, you haven't been using that piece because the city's been, if I'm understanding right, the city's putting yard waste there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So that's something that kind of slipped through the cracks when we leased the property, I think.
Well, I think they were just storing stuff there. It wasn't by any kind of agreement. There's not substantial piles there. It's just been miscellaneous stuff. It was,
Right, it gets hauled in there during the summer and then you burn it in the spring or.
they
Right.
weren't
And
substantial
we quit
piles.
doing that, three years ago.
then
Oh,
Yeah.
we haven't had a need for it, but there might be in the future.
Does moving the fence to what the Smelterville's proposing, does that mess up your line?
As long as the fence posts aren't on our pipe.
How close to that pipe can we be?
Um,
You're almost right on.
I would say like 5, even as close as 5 feet, as long as we're careful not to hit it. If we ever had to do a major repair, we'd have to take the fence down, obviously, but that would be an extreme emergency situation that everybody would be aware of. So we would obviously locate that pretty precisely when you go to put your fence posts in and make sure that we're 5 to 10 feet away.
Does that mess with your line?
I'm pretty well on the same page as what Pete is. We have a gate valve here, but as we talked before the other day, shifting everything better part of 20 feet off of that 24-inch allows me access to what I have right there. In an emergency situation, if a fence is in the way, we will remove it to do our repair. Straddling whatever the distance between the vertical posts are, as long as we straddle those lines, I think we can work around it.
Yeah, and moving that line helped us avoid the fire hydrant that's right there as well.
Correct. Yep.
Are you comfortable 5 to 10 feet away from your pipe?
I believe so. We can locate it fairly well right there. When we get out toward the freeway, our locate marks are kind of questionable, but I think we've got a pretty good location. And as long as we're, straddling it the best we can, I think we'll be all right. Those couple posts there, we might want to maybe hand dig or something like that instead of using a machine. But
Who do you have installing your fence?
We went locally with Alan at Fortress Fence in
At Fortress.
Pinehurst.
Okay, so we've got a proposed jog in the fence that would help the city of Smelterville with snow, but it takes up land that you've leased from the county.
Yeah, it kind of makes it unusable to us because we want to keep everything inside the fence. If we make that jog out of there, it takes that whole corner out where we wouldn't be able to store stuff there without it getting messed with.
Which would be a problem for future use. Right now, you don't have anything there.
Not yet, but there's stuff there anyway right now, and we were able to put it other places, but we're expanding and growing, and we might need to put stuff there.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's, if I may, Chairman, I think this piece of property, we all knew that we had a bunch of utilities going through there. So
Correct. What about, and I'm just brainstorming solutions. What about taking an equal amount of property out of the piece to the east? Does that cause a problem?
It does in the logistics of the lease is currently situated on, related to that particular parcel and its legal description. In order to increase its space outside of that legal description, we'd have to come up with a survey and a legal description of that added space in order to incorporate it into the lease. So take the effort to survey out a legal description of that piece in order to change the lease and change the legal description of the lease. I think I would add on, I'm still not saying, I think it's be the logistical problem with that corner notch and that over the two utility lines that are there. In fact, there's an existing intersection there on how you get into both places, the sewer district place and the storage of the toilets. Putting a fence through the middle of that and off to the side logistically cuts off the intersection. And so are you going to create a different intersection versus the proposed line to the south eliminates the need for the jog, it avoids the utilities, and then there's still access through there, and there's approval for the opposition to plowing the snow. There's a place for that, there's a mitigation for that. So given the other negatives, I would weigh the positives against the negatives, and that's your decision.
So at this point, what are you recommending?
What they proposed, which is do it to the southern property line according to the water district's movement, and then allow the snow to be plowed off onto our property, the county's remaining part, so that they can still access through there with the snowplow when needed. And then you're not logistically manipulating that intersection.
Right. Are you following that, Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so city, if Smelterville, if the county were willing to let you go ahead and you put your snow off on this side there, does that mitigate some of your problem, all your problem?
It would. It's just not ideal, but yeah, it would.
Okay. All right, so Smelterville could still plow, but they have a gate they have to deal with. You could put the fence, I guess you're suggesting right where it's drawn on here. Mm-hmm. And sewer and water are okay with that. So I guess my big concern was Smelterville to make sure they could work with it.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Chair, I would also agree with that too. We want to work with all parties, and that would be important.
Yeah, let's not make it any harder than we have to for everybody else.
Exactly.
Has everybody been out there? Because I drove by and saw they had poles in the ground, but not, they're just loose.
Yeah, they're just loose in the ground.
And is that going to work where they are now? Is that going to?
I think from here, what I would probably do.
Is that far enough from your stuff, Pete, where they are now?
I would have to go back out there again.
I think what I would suggest from here is like once we kind of agree to the concept, probably needs to be some site visit to make sure, and when you do the call for locate, make sure we know where lines are and where the posts are being proposed to be, and that way get all these folks out there to walk the perimeter of where you're proposing to go. So yeah, make sure you don't have one too close already. That would be my next suggestion once a decision's been made, is to do a logistical check out there to make sure the corners are where the corners and where you're proposing. Just make sure we don't go cementing in posts when they weren't where we all agreed to put them. That would be my suggestion to move forward with it.
Okay, if I mention a couple other things. Chris, if it would be all right, if the fence does end up enclosing our manholes, if we could put some traffic barrels over the manholes.
Oh, that'd be great. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that before because they would get messed with.
Right. Call attention to it.
Right.
And then secondly, this is kind of in the future, but the sewer district and the city of Smelterville are in the process of the city's sewer being annexed into the sewer district. It's kind of a years-long process. Not exactly sure the time frame, but over the next year or two, would you say, Jeff?
Yeah.
So with that, one of the alternatives for connecting the city sewer to the sewer district is kind of smack dab in the middle of that parcel. So obviously we haven't come to the county yet because we're still in the works of all the annexation process, but keep that in mind for a possible future construction project would be to, underground tie city sewer into our interceptor kind of in the middle of that.
So you're not building stuff above ground, it's underground.
Most likely, yeah. Yeah, there's some alternatives.
Manholes would be the only thing above.
Yeah. I mean, there's
I'm assuming.
There's the possibility that we still have to figure out the hydraulics. There's a chance
Exactly.
we might need a pump, we might need to, but we're way too early to answer those engineering questions at this point. Most likely to be underground.
Well, that's something that we can take a look at. I don't have a problem with the construction project going on. We'll just have to shift things around if need be.
Okay. So,
Commissioner Zimmerman, have you talked with Chris and these guys about any improvements made to the property would stay with the property? I mean, we're all clear on that.
That's in the lease already.
part of the lease, yeah.
Yep, I just want to make sure we,
Yeah, we're not
Had that
gonna
discussion.
decide we're not gonna lease anymore and take our fences and go home, no.
you wouldn't be the first to try,
People try now.
so. Okay. It sounds like we could make this fence work as long as we involve the various districts in the city in the final placement of the poles so that we don't mess up something that's already existing.
Yep.
Does that sound what we're all hearing the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay. What would you need from the county for permission to plow snow on our land over there?
Probably just a written agreement, just a simple.
Did you
Simple
make note of that?
easement / agreement, snowplow agreement. We do them with Public Works
Right.
very often to push
Okay.
snow off onto private property and stuff like that.
Okay. Commissioner Zimmerman, are you okay with the idea of letting them put their snow on our bare land there to the east of this?
Yes, I would agree to that.
Did you have any input, Ralph? You're the one that's going to be doing the plowing. Yeah. I'll make it work. Okay.
Appreciate that. Okay. All right. So what do we need today? A vote to go ahead and allow the
To
fence?
approve the fence project and then with these conditions or these parameters.
Commissioner Zimmerman, are you prepared for a motion or do you have other questions or comments?
I have no other questions or comments. I just appreciate everybody getting together and working this out.
Yeah, it's kind of refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier.
Okay. Do you want to make a motion or would you rather I did that?
If you could, that would be fine.
Okay, I would motion that we allow the leasee to go ahead and fence the property as per the drawing that we're looking at here today, with the understanding that they're going to continue to work with the various utility districts and the city and the placement of the actual poles so that we don't interfere with any infrastructure.
Good summary.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Any further comment by districts or the city? Any further comment?
I'm good, I think.
Chris, anything else?
Just thank you for seeing what we're trying to do here, and I appreciate working with you.
What's your timeline on, you've got some poles in holes, but not concreted in?
That's
so
where we're at right now.
Leave it to you to
So-
work with them on,
If, I don't know
Getting
what
out
your
there to-
schedules are like, if you got a few minutes, we can go ahead and take a look at it now. I'm prepared for that if you are. And I know you've seen some of them out there already.
I'm
if you
good
guys
on the
continue to
south
work on them
side.
and-
My main thing is I'm not sure what's on the north side toward the freeway, so I verify those and we'll be good.
Right, and I want to make sure we stay away, give you plenty of room for those manholes. I think there's enough room there. The problem with moving that, if we have to move the gate north towards the interstate, the issue there is the topography of that ditch, because that's a runoff ditch, I'm assuming. And putting a fence on something like that's a pain.
It's never had water in it since I've seen it, but it's there.
Don't jinx it. Don't
Yeah.
jinx it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think, anything further, Commissioner Zimmerman?
No, I'm
Okay.
good on my end.
All right. Well, with that, we'll adjourn the